Okay, so if you're new, my name is James. I'm 16 years old. I'm trans and gay, and I have mental health issues, behavioral issues, and I make YouTube videos about my life and what's going on in my life, and kind of give you different types of story times and advice from someone who is like me, and hopefully someone who is like you too. Not in like a negative way. I obviously don't want you to have mental health issues and who are struggling, but if you are having mental health issues, it could be good to see someone like you, like me, and that is what I'm trying to do. Spread awareness for different types of issues that I have, that I know that other people out there in the world also have them. So this is a story time of how my dad almost got arrested for protecting me against a nurse in the ER when I was having a mental health crisis. So I was 16 when the story took place. I'm still 16 now, but I was 16 when the story took place, and it was about a few months ago. I told this full story, but like what happened fully in detail and how my experience was at the psych hospital. So I'm not going to go into detail about that. I'm going to focus on the ER part, and all that stuff. So basically, I was sent to the hospital, the emergency room, from my school. So I took ambulance, and my dad followed the ambulance with his car to the emergency room. My dad ended up staying in the waiting room because of because of some issues that like I was struggling with my relationship with him at the time, and I just really did not want him in my room with me, so he sat in the waiting room during this time. And then when I got admitted into the room, like into a hospital room, he sat outside of my hospital room. So like there was a chair outside my room, and that's where he sat. Well, I sat in the room, and there was a curtain, so I didn't see him the whole time. So this nurse was being really nice to me. I was at the hospital. I was getting evaluated. This nurse was being really nice to me the whole time. Before I got evaluated, after I got evaluated, whatever. So she didn't evaluate me. Another person did. Like a doctor evaluated me. So she came in, and the doctor was in the room. The doctor was leaving, and the doctor was leaving, and she asked the doctor, like, am I, like, going to leave with other resources, like, for example, therapy or outpatient program, or am I going to need inpatient? And he told her that I would need inpatient. And then her whole behavior towards me changed when he said that. I was in the room when she asked, and I heard his answer. He laughed, and she started acting like really rude to me, really cold towards me. Like she was very mean. She had like a mean tone and everything, and like she just was not the person that she was before, and stuff. And my dad heard her talking disrespectful to me. Even though he was in the hallway, he could still hear her and how she acted towards me. So my dad stood up and got in my room. Was walking towards my room. And then the nurse was like, "Your child doesn't want you in the room." And then he responded with, "Well, I'm not going in my child's room. I'm going to talk to you, because you are being very disrespectful." And then she started like arguing with my dad, like, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?" And then my dad was like pushing towards her. I thought my dad was gonna like do something like to her, and I was like, punching a woman. And then the security guard was like, you're not able to sit outside of your child's door anymore. You can either sit in your child's room or sit back in the waiting room, because there was like that's where my dad was before. A nurse, not that rude one, but like another nurse told him to sit like outside of my door. So because I really didn't want my dad sitting by me, he went back into the hospital waiting room, like in a different, on a different, like in the main floor, like where people were like coming in and stuff. And he sat there until I got until I got admitted into an inpatient facility at Psych Hospital. And I got admitted like 20 minutes after my dad almost attacked the nurse, so it wasn't like a long wait for him. But I thought that story was kind of meaningful for me because it was like I was upset with my dad and he was still sticking up for me. And you know, it was like sometimes your parents can be mean to you, but even when you're mean to them, or they're, like even when you're mean to your parents, or you think your parents like hate you and like aren't gonna do anything for you, sometimes they still have your back. And in this case, my father did have my back when I thought he was not going to. And yes, and this also shows that nurses should be nice to their clients, and especially the ones that are most vulnerable, people who have mental health issues, particularly me because I have particularly people who have like bipolar or BPD are the most vulnerable. I'm not saying if you don't have those you aren't vulnerable or anything like that. I'm saying those are two of the most like, what's the word? Stigmatized disorders. People think that the people who have those disorders, especially another one is schizophrenia, people who have those disorders, they think are so bad and are like abusive and stuff, when really that's not the case. Their brain just works differently and they just need help with certain things, and it's not that bad. Sometimes bad things can happen if they're not getting the treatment that they need for their disorder, but it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't stigmatize people. I think every single person, regardless if they have regardless of what community they follow under, because everyone at least follows under at least one type of community, like they should be treated as an individual and not like, hey, this community does this and that, because I think everyone is particularly different and everyone can act a certain way, and it shouldn't really matter what kind of like they follow under, And by the way, people are gonna ask, did you report this nurse? Or they're gonna ask like, how is she like doing, right now? Yes, I did report her when the security guard like stopped my dad from walking towards her. The security guy asked him like why he was why he was yelling at them, and my dad was like they were being really rude to me, especially after the fact that they found out I needed to be in a higher level of care. And I think, first of all, you shouldn't be mean to any of your patients, regardless of, like if she was rude to me in the beginning, it would not be right. But I think it would be a lot different than her just switching up just because I need a higher level of care. I need an inpatient facility. I need to go to a psych hospital. And she was like, and another thing that she did was when so they were switching nurses. So like, the shift was over and they were switching nurses, and and this was actually after. This was after like after my dad almost attacked her. They were switching shifts, and like the nurse who was going to switch over was reading my file and was like, "Oh, how old is he?" And the nurse who was the one being rude was like 16, and then the new nurse was like, "Oh, is he okay?" And because she saw that I was waiting for a bed at a psych hospital facility, and she knew that I wanted to end my life, so she was like, "Oh, is he okay?" And then she was like, and then the mean nurse was like, "Yeah, he's fine. He does this all the time. He's bipolar." And like was like, "It doesn't matter. He doesn't really want to hurt himself." And that's what she said. And then the other nurse was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm just like, I came here for help and resources, and I did not need you to do all that. I really do not like the hospital. I have had so many bad experiences. So a lot of people talk about their experiences with psych hospitals. I personally have not had many I have not had any bad experiences being an inpatient. I have had experiences where I have wanted to go home and they wouldn't discharge me because they didn't think I was ready, but that I think is kind of understandable. For most cases, I didn't really have any bad experiences when I was inpatient. I was inpatient so far 4 times. 3 times when I was 16. I'm still 16 right now, and once when I was 15. And I have not had any bad experiences, but I have had so many like terrible experiences like in the ER waiting to go to my patient, especially because sometimes there has not been beds for up to like 2 weeks one time at a point, and I was in the ER waiting to get a bed for 2 weeks, and I had to be with rude nurses and stuff. And I don't know. And I have been to different hospitals. It wasn't like I've been to different ERs before, and I really think it is. I think some of it is just them being rude, but I also think a lot of it is these nurses aren't trained on mental health. They are trained on someone comes in with a broken arm, or they're trained with medical stuff. So a lot of them don't have the proper training, so they just feed into all the stigmas and treat you however they want to treat you, as long as their end result is going to an inpatient facility, outpatient facility. They could care less how they treat you.